listen to the show and peep what these dudes bring. If you didn't know, it's an orange and blue thing. Hope to win the championship and a few rings.
We're talking baseball.
It's an orange and blue thing. Walk off if the game's tied like shoestrings. It's a Mets podcast, orange and blue thing. Beat the other team with defense and a few swings. LFGM, it's an orange and blue thing.
Oh my God. Oh boy. What's up, Mets fans? Happy Tuesday.
What day is it?
It is August 2nd. It is trade deadline day, Julia. Since the season started late, it is not it's not July 31st anymore. It is now August 2nd, which is today.
Right.
If you happen to know, it is August 2nd.
It says it. You wrote it
It
down.
says it on the paper.
Thank you.
In case you forget, just look down.
Thank you.
And you could be reminded of the date. Julia walks in as she normally does. She was actually a little bit early. I was over there rambling on Instagram. So if you saw us on Instagram, now you're on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter. Welcome. This is Orange and Blue Thing, a weekly show, sometimes about the Mets, sometimes about dog walking, sometimes about dirt bike riding. But today it is going to be a heavily Mets-centric show for the first time, maybe all season.
From your lips to God's ears.
Maybe not.
Let's see what happens.
We'll see. We'll see what happens once we start rolling here. But thanks for checking in. I'm already seeing the comments flying in through the chat. We appreciate you guys checking in each week. There was almost no notice that the show is going to be at 11 a.m.
I was going to say something, but then I thought like maybe I missed it and I didn't want to be like, I'm not paying enough attention.
No, I was just seeing how the morning went because I'm dealing with some shit as well. So I wasn't sure like if 11 was going to work for me, and I was going to hit you back and be like, don't stress, don't rush here. But you're here and we're here. And someone else who is going to be here very soon is Mr. Anthony DiComo from MLB.com, a great friend of the show.
I'm so excited.
Because Anthony, who wrote the David Wright book, which I'm sure you've read cover to cover multiple times.
Duh. He
was on the show a couple of times. Also was live with us when we did our show from McKellar once. He's also been on this show when we streamed from here. And Anthony, I'm sure, is working around the clock with his ear to the
I was going to say,
to
how much anxiety must he have that he agreed to block off however many minutes of his day on deadline day to talk to us?
I pretty much said to him, hey, sorry for the last minute, but can you pop on around 11:15, which is like 10 minutes from now,
right?
Just to give us the latest of what we need to know, because
we don't know.
Because we don't know. Honestly, we know as much as like Frank at the deli this morning, but DiComo, that's his job, and that's what the beat does. And I'm sure there's no one better to fill us in than him,
Correct.
So we'll see what's happening. I have Twitter open on the side, so if anything happens while we're live, I'm sure we'll talk about it. But if you follow Anthony on Twitter, I love when he does it's not the update, but like after each game, he's like, here's the pace, here's the game, here's like the emojis, whatever it is. And I've been waiting for that the projection to say 102 wins, because I've been saying 102 wins since April. So now they're actually predicted at 103. So we'll see what happens.
Would you be upset if it was 103? Did you put any money on 102?
No, it's so fucked up. Like the over before the season started, I think the over Mets wins was 87.5, which they're definitely going to get.
Holy crap.
So I should have bet on that, and I didn't.
Yeah.
When I had this prediction of 102, it was already closed. So I went and I started tweeting at Carabas, who's works with DraftKings now. I'm like, hey, dude, like, talk to your people, get it in.
Yeah.
Not that we speak like text or anything, but we follow each other on Twitter. And sometimes, I don't know if he follows me, but he writes back to the 7 line occasionally. So I was like, hey, dude, like 102, get it in. See if you could put a bet on it. And they never opened it up. So no, it's just my bet with the universe.
I realized last night, and Lord knows it's for the best, but I never placed a bet this week. So maybe I'll do two.
I think that's
week.
good. We're actually
I think it's for the best.
Subway Series. Let's talk about that for a second. I know it feels like forever ago.
I know.
But last Tuesday and Wednesday at Citi Field was electric.
Sick.
Way too many Yankee fans in the building for my liking. But what can you do? You can't kick them out. You have to buy a ticket. One thing I do want to bring up, because not to jump all around the board here, there were some Yankee fans in our section, unfortunately, and I got a text from a member who apologized like through the moon because he had given his tickets to his cousin. He's like, I can't make it. Gave his tickets to his cousin. He thought his cousin was going to bring his girlfriend, who's also a Mets fan. He didn't. He brought a friend, not knowing that the section was the section. And the kid gets down there, and I'm like, "What do you like? How did you get these seats?"
Yeah,
like,
how did you get
I'm
here?
not gonna like drag him out by the neck,
Right.
But then he was very respectful, sat there, didn't like try to like start anything, and
Right.
you know, Mets ended up winning, so who cares?
Who cares?
But we try to keep the section as Mets,
Yes.
you know, full wall to wall Mets. But what can we do if someone gets their hands on a ticket?
Right.
You know, so it is what it is. But Tuesday, Wednesday was great. Our content that we put up on Instagram, like the Instagram reels, and they did like 4 reels, like 500,000 views.
Well, yeah,
that's crazy.
That's wild.
For us, that's insane.
But I mean, and just oh my god, honest to God, the whole time I was sitting there. There it is. How long?
I don't know.
6 minutes.
6 minutes
time.
today.
We are getting quicker and quicker. But the whole time I was sitting there, I was just like, this as a World Series environment would be. And I know they did this like 22 years ago, but this would be so fucking insane.
Yeah,
it was electric.
It was great.
If you didn't go in Queens, as painful as it is to travel to the Bronx, I would highly recommend doing it because it was so much fun.
I have to update the green screen video of me doing the sweep. I've got to do it thankfully like 4 or 5 times so far this year, again in Miami. And I put the video up the other day. I guess that was 2 days ago, Sunday.
Yeah.
Of the sweep in Miami, and someone commented, "This is fake." I'm like, yeah, no shit. No, you're right.
I love the internet.
They're like, don't try to pull a fast one. This is photoshopped. I'm like, yeah, they didn't let me on the field in Marlins Park.
Was that like a correspondent from the Federalist or something?
Yeah,
because that's what
it was a real
like.
person.
That's
like
crazy.
I clicked and I was like, this person really thinks that I'm trying to convince people that I'm sweeping
on
the Marlins,
field.
Yeah. Anyway, so I got to update that because that clip is from like 5 years ago.
Yeah, make it look more realistic.
And I got to switch it up and wear something more current. It's like the old NY camo, like the all over camo jersey, which I love, but we don't make it anymore. So that sweeping video against the Yankees at Citi Field, it's just like a looped reel. I think that alone has like 300,000 views. That one. That's a lot.
That's wild.
I mean, that's not a lot for like
that's a lot of people watching you
Barstool or the Mets or whoever, but like
Oh, yeah.
And that just gets people to the site, hopefully, and buy a shirt or something, you know.
Fingers
Anyway,
crossed.
so that's the story with that. But we'll see what happens. The Subway Series, World Series would be excellent. But first things first, got to get through this weekend. Big 5 games in 4 days. I've been talking about this for a month. It's been written on the top of our page for a month.
I'm so anxious.
So the Mets are 66-37, which is insane, right? Is that right? Is that what that says here?
66-37.
66-37. First place, obviously, in the East, 3.5 up on the Braves. I've been checking this though because it's obviously important to win the division. But if you have the best record in the National League, you get the 1 seed.
Right.
So they are only 4 behind the Braves, the Dodgers right now. Dodgers come to town at the end of the month. So this is a crazy month.
This month is going to kill me.
Right. The 9 games that we've circled against the Braves over the next couple weeks are going to be insane.
And that's why it's also like there's no excuse. They need to sweep DC. Like the teams that you're blessed to play
guess what?
What?
I already counted tonight as a win. They're 66. They're 65-37.
Oh God.
So anyway, Mr. Met here on the chalkboard says it's 66-37.
If we lose,
so this video,
for you.
This live stream might be from the future. They are 65. I fucked up.
I hope
so 65-37.
Did the fact checkers tell you that?
Yes, the fact checkers. Thank you. That's why I love having this live comments on the side.
Yeah, there's no accountability for us. Just tell us if we're wrong.
I'm we're hosts,
yeah,
and I'm the producer, and whoever the person is that has to write the sheet for like a real radio show or real.
You're
whatever.
Everything. You wear all the hats.
So
speaking of hats,
speaking of hats, we'll get to that in a second. The live chat on the side, they're the producers, basically.
Yeah.
It's like if someone was speaking in your ear.
Correct.
I get to look over there. So if people are listening to this afterwards, the podcast, like, what the fuck? Darren's such an idiot. He doesn't even know the record. He doesn't know who's on the trading block today.
It was a busy morning. There was a lot going on. This is why Anthony DiComo is coming on. So somebody who actually knows what he's doing can talk for a little bit.
Richie, Zappa, and myself are in this betting group chat, which has been killing it lately. Yesterday, we bet on there was a boost on DraftKings for Pete Alonso and Judge to both hit home runs last night. So we bet on that and it happened. And, we made a good amount of money off that. At the Subway Series, when the Mets started to lose in game 1, that's when you get better odds. If you pick the Mets to win when they're already losing. So I bet everything left in my account on the Mets to win that night and they won. So now I'm back. So I was down to 0 sitting in my chair. I'm
so how much did you win? Because I know you bet small.
I bet over $100 on the Mets to win when they were losing. I was like that confident.
Wow.
The Mets. And so then it got me back, and then I'm back. So
he's back,
I'm
baby.
Back. until you like give me some crazy bet tonight.
And I
about
drain your
DeGrom.
account.
So let's talk about DeGrom, because
Oh my gosh.
waking up this morning, I think the first and only tweet I put out
It just
about
said
DeGrom
Jacob
just
DeGrom.
said Jacob DeGrom, and you wrote back like, yes,
So true,
bestie or
bestie.
something. I love how excited Mets fans get when we rally around something like it could be Vogelbach or Jankowski or whoever.
I know.
And we're so bought in.
Yeah.
You know, like
We'll make it a
Jankowski,
thing.
well, he had his own shirts made. He's
Yeah.
no longer on the team.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
But he got claimed off waivers, and the Mets were
Goddamn Mariners.
hoping that he wouldn't, and then
Yeah.
they put him in the minors somewhere, but he's gone. So Jacob DeGrom tweets are flooding the timeline from even people who aren't necessarily Mets fans. Like I just talked about, Carabas is talking about Jacob DeGrom Day, who he says he's impartial, but we all know he's a Red Sox fan.
Right.
The official MLB account, SNY, of course, the Mets accounts, anyone who's related to or a Mets
The radio today
is
like,
wall to
it
wall
was like
DeGrom.
102.3, and like whoever was giving like the news update is like, oh, and Jacob DeGrom is back for the Mets tonight. I'm like, why are they talking about this? It gave me so much anxiety. I am obviously so excited, and I am seeing this too from a lot of people. A lot of people are nervous because no one knows what to expect. And it's also like, he has a great game, great, but like I'm still going to be nervous for the week through the rest of the season to see what's going to happen. So I am very excited, but
one of the first tweets
cautious.
I saw this morning was from Josh Oshinsky, and he wrote something like, I'm so excited for Jacob DeGrom Day, but I feel like I could puke.
Yeah.
And the game doesn't even start for like another 8 hours from now.
That's how I felt all morning too.
So what are you thinking about tonight? Like, honestly, remember when he was coming off his last stint and he was in spring training, and I guess this year, and he was already throwing 101 in the first inning. Like his first 5 pitches were all like above 100 miles an hour.
That's what I expect. I don't expect any less than that. I'm just terrified for how long he can maintain that. And like,
but how many innings? Like, honestly, like we'll see what they have him at his pitch count tonight. I could see like 70, 80 pitches, go 4 or 5 innings. But we've seen him strike out sides and like be sitting before like he threw 10 pitches. So we'll see what happens.
Also, the thing is, like, you're looking obviously towards the postseason, and not only getting him there, but then him being Jacob DeGrom in the postseason. And last time he was Jacob DeGrom in the postseason, he was pitching on like 3 days rest every day. I don't think that's possible for where his arm is right now, which is something you have to take into account going back to the trade deadline and all that stuff, getting you to the postseason. Like, I don't know. Oh, we have a friend here. He's here.
Oh, he's here.
He's here.
We'll get him in here in just 1 second. Finish
All
your
right,
thought.
no, it's fine. My thoughts useless compared to actual legitimate thoughts. But yeah, I'm just really nervous.
All right, so welcome to the show is Mr. Anthony DiComo, who I wanted to ask you this before we get going. Do you prefer Tony or do you prefer Anthony? Because I feel like whenever you're, you go by Anthony, but then when you're in,
all his chums call him Tony.
When you're in like the presser or whoever, and I guess Ethan or whoever says like who's next, Harold, they go Tony. They say Tony. They don't always say Anthony.
It's I think Julia's kind of right. A lot of my family and close friends do call me Tony, but I don't have a ton of preference. My professional name, my byline on my stories, all that is Anthony. My Twitter account obviously is Anthony. But if you guys want to call me Tony, go ahead. I'm fine with it.
That's great. That
we're
means
in
that
the inner circle.
Yeah, we're good enough friends, I guess.
Heck yeah.
So listen, trade deadline obviously got pushed back a couple days because of the late start. So as we used to circle July 31st, now it is August 2nd. Have you slept in the past day, or how's it going for you?
I've tried to catch a couple naps where I could. I was doom scrolling Twitter a little bit in bed and fell back asleep for a little bit. So you catch little bits and pieces where you can, but no, it's interesting in that it is deadline day. The Mets made a couple smaller deals going into it. They haven't made like that big splash that people have been waiting for, and we'll see if that's coming down the pipe today. I do fully expect them to do something, if nothing else, to address the bullpen before 6 o'clock today. But I've tried to not just like constantly be in my mentions too much, because as you could probably tell from a couple of tweets I put out this morning, it's angry out there, and there's a lot of people just convinced the Mets are going to do nothing, and I'm telling you that's not the case. So just stay tuned for the next six and a half hours.
Yeah, I think it's almost kind of like the Mets. If the Mets are doing something, or let's say, they're not having the hottest day on the field, it's almost like the fans want to attack whoever the social media person is that writes something that has nothing to do with that. So it's like, yeah, same as you. I'm looking at the tweet. I can't remember where it was, but I saw it. It said like, sit tight. The Mets will do something. I promise. What were you most surprised about yesterday? Was it maybe Hader? Like, what do you think was the most surprising move yesterday?
Yeah, I think it was Hader, just because on paper it's the Brewers were and still are in contention, and not that this move takes them out of contention, but certainly, especially once you get into a playoff scenario, once you get into October, we've seen how valuable a reliever like that can be. So for them to just go ahead and give him to a competitor, despite the return they got, I thought was surprising. I had read, just like you guys, the rumors that it could happen, the reasoning why. I understand all that stuff, but I think when a deal like that comes down the pipe, it is to a certain extent surprising. But that's why the trade deadline's fun. I mean, I can sit here and tell you what I think the Mets are going to do. You can go, follow the national reporters. Everyone's saying Juan Soto, maybe San Diego, this, that, the other. But at the end of the day, there almost always are surprises that we don't hear about. And oftentimes it's the biggest deals. So that's why, the people who think they have it all figured out, trust me, you don't. I certainly don't.
Yeah, I remember Cespedes came down to the wire. Like, I think like at the exact minute that
it was like 5 minutes before the deadline.
Yeah, it was funny. I was down in not to make this about me, of course, but I was down in Pensacola Beach, and I got an alert. It was a mention from Jerry Seinfeld. And Jerry was excited for Cespedes, and for some reason added the 7 line in his tweet. He wrote like Cespedes for the rest of us or something like that. And he wrote like at Mets at the 7 line. I was like, holy shit, Jerry Seinfeld. This is before like comedians at cars.
Had you known they got Cespedes at this point, or was this how you found out they got Cespedes?
I don't know.
Because what a way to find out.
I don't remember.
Jerry Seinfeld.
You think Jerry Seinfeld's a cultural icon? He thinks the 7 line's a cultural icon.
There you go.
Well, I think it's funny. I don't know who necessarily runs all Keith's tweets, Hernandez, but whenever he was doing signings and stuff, they would always at the 7 line, I guess, so I'd see it and hope maybe like retweet it or something. But I'm pretty sure Jerry runs his own account, so I was very excited about that. So Soto, I feel like for Mets fans a couple weeks ago, I was always under the impression of the thought process that they were basically dangling him out there or saying that they would potentially move him in the division because everyone else knows that Steve Cohen's around now. This isn't the Wilpons Mets, and maybe he will do more than the old regime to get him out there. Do you? We'll see what happens. But did you think that it was even a possibility, or still think it's a possibility that they would trade a star like that to the Mets?
Yeah, I would be surprised. I think the division thing is real. Especially for a GM who's going to have a new boss soon. The Nationals are going to be sold, so he needs to be very careful about what he does and how he handles this situation with one of the best players in their franchise's history here. On paper here. That being said, I wouldn't be shocked if Soto comes to the Mets. I would definitely be surprised. I think there are other teams that are seeming like they're a lot more aggressive to get him. But yeah, I can't drill this home enough. This is a different era of Mets baseball, and they don't yet have the farm system capital built up where they can just do any deal at any time like the Dodgers can. They have to be very judicious because they only have a handful of pieces at the top of their system that other teams are very interested in, especially when you're talking about top players who could be available like Juan Soto. And they very much, their number one goal as an organization, beyond even the singular goal of winning a World Series, which is very, very important, but it's to get to that place where year after year after year, they're sustainable. And by sustainable, I mean can do whatever they want. Because, right, like that's what the Dodgers do right now. They do whatever they want because they have the money, but they also have the farm system capital from really good scouting, really good drafting, really good development year after year to do these things. That's where the Mets want to get. So going away and just lopping off the top 4 names of your farm system right now on a deal would run counter to that. For Juan Soto, you do it because you have to do it. But I think, just looking at some of these other deals, that's why they're being judicious. That's why they're being careful. And I'm not saying they're not going to do a deal for, say, Wilson Contreras, but that's what's in the back of their mind as they're going forward here, knowing that they have a chance to win this year, balancing that with being really, really good for years to come.
Since this obviously is so fluid and I'm constantly scrolling through Twitter, even, I am listening to you, believe me, but I am scrolling through Twitter at the same time. So John Morosi just says that there's news. The Nats are in the process of calling up multiple minor leaguers to the MLB club, a sign that trades are imminent. So the Nats seem to be active. I guess we'll see what happens over the next couple hours. But, in years past, we talk about this a lot when the Mets were close to bringing someone up at the deadline, like today.
Yeah.
With deGrom, it was almost like that was the move.
Right.
And now we hear, May and McCann are certainly, I hope, to be coming back as well. What are you expecting from deGrom maybe tonight? I mean, we're all sitting here with our fingers and toes crossed that, this is the last, the last time he has to come up, that there's no more setbacks. But what are you expecting out of deGrom tonight, or what do you think the Mets are expecting?
Well, my first thought is, if the Nationals go ahead and trade Juan Soto today and trade Josh Bell today, I fear for the minor leaguers who get called up and have to face this guy, because he's going to have the adrenaline pumping. I fully expect him, to be 101 miles an hour on the radar gun and all that stuff we've come to expect from Jacob deGrom. He's going to be fired up. And, it's going to be a relatively brief outing. You're not going to see him go more than 80 pitches, and that's probably a hard max, realistically. Maybe more like 70 pitches, which maybe that gets him 4 innings, 5 innings. We'll see how efficient he is and how good he is at knocking the rust off. I think the more interesting question is almost not what he looks like tonight, because it's going to be good. It's going to be exciting. Even if he gives up some runs, he's going to look good doing it, if that makes sense. But it's more, can he do this? Can he start every 5 days down the stretch? He says he can. The Mets hope he can. But until he actually does it, it's fair to have skepticism that he can continue to do it. And that's what has always mattered. The fact that he missed April, May, June, July doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, especially because the Mets weathered that storm pretty well without him, and they managed to stay in first place basically the entire season without him. What has always mattered is, can this guy be healthy down the stretch in September when it really counts? Can he be healthy in October when it really counts? I have no idea. We'll see. Obviously, you have to be hopeful. And that's the one other thing I'll say on deGrom is, people don't seem to like this phrasing that, like, oh, they're getting this huge acquisition right on the same day as the trade deadline, Jacob deGrom. And I get it. It harkens back to previous Mets regimes where that would be the only thing they do. First of all, it's not going to be the only thing they do. But second of all, you have to acknowledge that this guy coming back healthy, if he truly is healthy, is a bigger acquisition. He's a better player than anyone you're going to get. He's going to have the biggest impact on the team than anyone you're going to get. And even if the Mets go out and get, say, Wilson Contreras or JD Martinez, they get a big lefty for the bullpen, all of these things, it's not going to matter if deGrom and Scherzer aren't healthy down the stretch. That is priority number 1 and 2. Those are the most important things. If the Mets win the World Series, it's going to be because deGrom and Scherzer are leading the way.
Right. And that kind of touched on the question that I was going to ask, which is really just like, realistically, if you can get deGrom to I guess 2 questions. One, if you get deGrom to the postseason, can you use him the way, let's say, you did in 2015, where he's pitching every 3rd day? I don't think so. But on top of that, if, let's say, he does go down before then, is that, so I know you said they're looking to get maybe a relief pitcher or something, but are they planning for worst case scenario of, let's just say we don't have deGrom a month from now? Is that at all on their radar in terms of the trade deadline, another starter or somebody else who can give you more innings?
Yeah, I don't think you ever shut the door on that, and it wouldn't shock me. Again, I feel like I've said that phrase a lot, but it wouldn't shock me to see the Mets go out and get a starter at the deadline, because they do recognize that and realize how important it is. This time of year, it's so difficult to obtain starting pitching. It's so expensive to get starting pitching. We saw that with Luis Castillo, maybe a little less so with Frankie Montas, but it is hard because there are so many teams, so many contenders out there, and so little inventory of actual good quality starters. So I'd be not shocked but surprised if the Mets get starting pitching depth. They're very fortunate. I wrote this the other day. It's very rare for any contender to come to this time of year and basically have their rotation as they set it up in spring training healthy and ready to rock going into the final 2 months of the season. With the exception of Tyler McGill, who won't be a starter again unless you really need him to be, they're good there. And David Peterson's, basically got booted out of this rotation through no fault of his own, because they don't have a spot for him anymore. He's been pretty good for the Mets too. So it's almost like this, I don't know if catch-22 is the word, but you can go ahead and you can shore up your rotation. But if you're without Jacob deGrom because he gets hurt down the stretch, and you picked up some mid-rotation starter at the deadline, is that really what you need to win it all? It would be tough. So it's almost like everything rides on the health of these guys. And if they're not healthy, then the other things that you do, well, they'll help, and they might help you make a deep run, and maybe you do get lucky and go all the way. It's going to be very, very hard without Scherzer, deGrom. So I just can't underscore that enough, how important those two guys are to everything the Mets are doing.
No pressure, Jake.
So for anyone who's not scrolling through Twitter currently, Bob Nightingale just wrote that the San Diego Padres are getting close to landing Juan Soto from the Nationals. The deal is not yet finalized. We will see what happens with that. I've always been a big Dom Smith guy.
Me as well.
Whenever he's in the lineup, now that betting is legal in New York, I always seem to put him into something because I always have a lot of faith in Dom. And, but off the field as well, I just think Dom's an incredible person. And we talk about it a lot, Julia and I, that we just like Dom as a human, and we always just want him to succeed in whatever
all
he's
of his
doing.
endeavors.
So now that he's, hurt and not playing, and the Mets, need to move on, do you think, well, not move on, but life goes on when he's not around, they gotta still play the games. Do you think that we've seen the last of Dom Smith with the big club?
Probably. And it's tough because to trade him, you would be trading him at really the bottom of his value. So I don't think it's a lock that he's traded, but when he does get healthy and he's going to start a rehab assignment, it sounds like this week, there's no place on the roster for him right now. And it's maybe sad because I know a lot of Mets fans do like Dom Smith, as you guys just said, but he's not going to play over Daniel Vogelbach. The Mets got Tyler Naquin as another lefty bat off the bench. So the realistic thing is if he's not traded, he's probably going to get optioned to AAA, and maybe he plays out the final couple months of the season there. Maybe he absolutely rakes and the Mets can revisit trading him in the offseason. But it is hard for me to sit here and just looking at the way the roster is constructed, barring a major injury, it's hard to see him getting playing time. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Dom has already taken his last step out as a Met.
All right, Tony, listen, there's a lot going on there, and I know that you need to get back to Twitter.
Yeah, you're doing a really good job of hiding your anxiety and talking to us, not looking at your phone.
I appreciate you giving us some time.
I just know Darren's gonna throw the tweet up if something happens, so I can.
You're fine. Darren's got it covered.
We'll be sure to keep a follow on you all day on Twitter, and if you don't already follow Anthony DiComo, also known as Tony to his friends.
His close friends like us.
Follow him on Twitter and keep your ear out and your eye out for everything that goes on for the rest of the day. The trade deadline is until 6 p.m. tonight, right, Tony?
It is till 6 p.m. And I will say, Julia, David calls me Tony, so I guess that answers that.
We have that in common.
All right, we thank you for your time, man. Be good. Thank you.
All right, you got it. Anytime, guys.
Thanks.
That's great. We always like to catch up with Mr. Tony. I meant to ask him that because, obviously, like you said, anything that he officially puts his name on, like the book or his Twitter or his post on MLB.com, he always writes Anthony. But whenever, I'm pretty sure it's Harold or Ethan that work, with the Mets press, they'll say Tony.
All the other beat writers and like Wayne and all that, they always call him Tony. But I think that's the first time I've ever actually as close to face as possible to talk to Tony.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I ever did. I wasn't doing the show.
I did something with him on the side. We were promoting the Captain book.
Right. I mean, I'm always just harassing him on Twitter. And I also think it's kind of funny to call him by like the name his mother gave him when I'm harassing him like that. But going forward, now it's Tony. So
do you have any, if I say the name Emmanuel, does anything come to mind with you?
Isn't that a Knicks player, Emmanuel Quick? Is that his name?
Right, but I'm talking about
that's like the only man.
Okay, so there's this girl who has a farm in Florida, and she has an emu named Emmanuel. You never seen it?
No,
right, I can't get into it. I've been showing.
Sounds like my targeted content.
I've been showing. Yeah, you'd love it. I've been showing everyone these videos, and Kelly's like, "This isn't that funny," but like, there's this girl. She has this emu. She tries to do like educational videos about her farm, like the animals and stuff. But this emu, Emmanuel, he always pecks into the phone and it falls down. So like, I want to know what's next for this girl because it's taken like the internet by storm.
How did we get here?
Emmanuel.
But why?
That's his
the name his mother
says it's his she says it's your government name. She yells at the emu. Emmanuel. It's great. You got to look into it. So anyway, this Thursday, actually, the Mets are back in town for a gigantic series against the Braves. 5 games on deck in 4 days. If you haven't picked up tickets yet, and you want to get some on the secondary market from our friends at TickPick, go over to TickPick.com and browse the site. Put in the word Mets when you want to search. Scroll down and you can see the get-in price, the cheapest or least expensive price you can get in. And it's also sorted by star rating. So this Thursday, for instance, 7-10 game against the Braves. You can get in for $15.
It's a good deal.
Gigantic game, gigantic series on deck. I haven't checked the weather yet, but you can scroll through and see all the different sections. Again, no fees, super easy. You purchase on TickPick, and it goes directly into your ballpark app. It could not be easier. And Julia's been using it for years.
Always.
I love it as well. You guys should too. We have a special promo code. Last week we screwed up though.
Yeah, we said it wrong. I think I said it wrong.
Did you say 10?
I think I said 10%, but it was $10.
It's not 10%.
It's $10.
You get $10 off your
My bad,
first time
guys.
purchase through the TickPick app with the code OABT. Cannot be any easier. You're already watching OABT. You know who we are.
Yes.
Orange and Blue Thing, OABT. $10 off your first purchase on TickPick.com. And obviously download the app. No fees. Super convenient. So easy. It's not like those other sites where like you see a great price, you click it, then you try to check out, and there's like
No.
$60 extra in
What you
service
see
fees.
is what you get. Their customer service is amazing. Their social media team is amazing. Cannot say enough good things about TickPick.
How about this? This Sunday, if all goes great tonight for deGrom, I heard, I think it works out where he pitches again on Sunday at Citi Field. You can get him for $21.
Oh my God.
I can't make it, unfortunately. It's a 4:00 game. I can't swing it. But if you can, you should definitely go to TickPick.com.
Saturday's the doubleheader.
Saturday is the doubleheader.
Is that a 7-line outing?
No, not this weekend.
Next weekend.
Right,
the
right,
13th,
right. You got me
okay.
confused for a second.
I got myself confused.
Yeah.
I thought the 13th was this weekend.
No, the 13th is next weekend.
What a
But we
weekend.
also got a box of stuff, and I want Julia to show you something for a second. Is this the first one? When's August 4th?
This is Thursday.
All right, so check this out, guys. We're probably going to end up giving this away, but this Thursday, if you haven't heard, if you check the Citi Fields Twitter account, is Margaritaville night,
I can't.
which I didn't even know was a thing.
This is amazing.
So if you're watching live, there's the bucket hat. It is like a floral print. It says New York on the front, and there's an access to a pregame party. I'm assuming maybe like right in. I'm just guessing
in
now, but
Margaritaville,
I guess. But like when you walk in the bullpen entrance, you know how they used to have the parties there in front of the bullpens.
Sure.
You don't know about this?
Yes,
You're
no,
just
I do.
agreeing.
I do.
Okay. So you walk. Usually when you say something to someone and they aren't sure if you're telling them the truth, they'll just say sure to agree.
At first I wasn't, but then I was.
This is true.
At first
When you
I
walk
wasn't.
in, usually that's where they have these parties, right? So anyway, Margaritaville night this Thursday. You buy a ticket, you also get the bucket hat. I'm assuming you pick it up special at the pregame party. If you go to this at Citi Field Twitter account, you can see there's a little link there of how you can purchase it. We also have, which I guess I'll try this one on.
Where's your hat, Darren?
It's next to me.
Put it on.
Hold on. Hold on a second. I want to pull up the correct thing because Country Fest.
I can't. This is so amazing.
Did you even know these were a thing?
No, this is amazing.
Okay, so
I
got
walked
this
in and there was just a hat on my desk.
Julia, wear this. So I got Country Fest hat on right now, which
Show the people.
I will. It says, "Howdy, partner." This is what the tweet says. At Citi Field, howdy, partner. Join us for Country Fest on August 8th. I don't know when that is, but it's some point next week. Maybe that's also next Thursday. I don't know. I'm not good at math. When the Mets host the Cincinnati Reds. Special tickets include the exclusive Mets cowboy hat and access to a pregame party. So I'm assuming maybe in the same location. So this hat's pretty cool.
Show them.
I will. Where? Okay, right here. So this is the Howdy Partner hat, and yours is the buck. It almost looks like too bright right now.
I think it's perfect.
They say Monday is the 8th. I'm not good at math. I thought it was
Fact
Thursday.
checkers.
Oh yeah, 5.
Check the calendar.
5, 6. Yeah,
I was trying to do the math in my head. and
it's
I was
the 8th. The 8th is
failing.
Monday. So cowboy night, which it's like it's a cowboy hat, but I like that the sides are like bent up.
Yeah.
So this is the hat you get.
Really, really nifty.
People in the comments are saying either "Holy shit, I need that hat" or "You guys look absurd." We never asked you guys where you're watching from, so let us know in the comments.
Let us know. Is it Margaritaville?
No. And someone else is there. I'm scrolling back now. I'm reading some things. How does TickPick make any money?
Great question.
No idea.
But they do.
If there's no
somehow.
fees, I have no idea how they make any money.
I don't either.
Maybe there's a fee on the seller.
I think it's the fee is on the seller.
Okay.
I think it is. It's like the
Which makes
seller has
sense.
to.
Wayne
Okay.
says TickPick works great. Yeah, so that's the story. So are we going to wear these the rest of the show?
I think we should on principle, and also
Okay.
because I'll have hat hair now.
Yeah, I guess you will.
So.
But I mean,
We're in this together,
is there a label on
Darren.
that thing? Hold
There,
on.
it says New York Mets on it. I don't know. If
Oh, it's promoted. It's sponsored by Nathan's.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a little woven label on the back says Nathan's. No big deal.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I talked about this.
Go ahead. I'll tell you if you did.
It doesn't even matter. It's back to 4th of July for the Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
Oh, yeah.
When I went there for the Coney Island Cyclones game, when we had our outing, there used to be like this Hall of Fame on the corner of the Nathan's and like Surf Ave, whatever it was, where it would show, it was like a collage of photos of all the different like great eaters over the years, Kobayashi, Joey Chestnut, whatever, and had a countdown clock to the next competition. It's gone.
Oh.
Which I was very upset. I don't even eat hot dogs. I was very upset. I was like, oh, wow, it's great. Like, we're here.
All the suspense out of it.
Because it had like it was like a Hall of Fame. It's like getting rid of the Mets Museum.
Who else is in the Hall of Fame aside from Joey Chestnut?
The Black Widow, Sonia. There's this guy, Eater X. There's this guy, Badlands Booker. My favorite eater is Stoney. He lives in California. He doesn't go anymore.
You're just making up names.
I swear to
These
God.
aren't real
Matt
people.
Stoney, look it up. YouTube. This kid he's tiny and he eats like a fucking maniac. Seriously, Stoney. He's the man. I used to be like big into not doing it myself,
eating.
but like following along. They're athletes. Competitive eaters are certainly
I'm not going to argue
athletes. You know what's
I'm
fucking
just-
crazy?
that
It's
we're still
trade
wearing these
deadline
hats.
day. We had Anthony DiComo on talking about the Mets.
I
for,
was just
20
going to
minutes,
say
and now we're talking about bucket hats, cowboy night, and
professional eating.
Professional eating.
I was going to say you promised the folks a full-blown
All right,
Mets
we are
show.
going to talk about the Mets for a second because we have some stuff coming up really soon. We will be in Philly on the 20th of August.
Oh, this is so exciting.
in a couple of weeks. And
I'm very sad I can't come.
I got an email. I'm not surprised.
I don't know, whatever.
I
Go
got
on.
an email yesterday from our ticket rep. I think it's like an automated thing. So if you haven't seen this, this is the tweet that went out yesterday on the Seven Lines account. Just found out that one of the Seven Line Army members gets to toss out an honorary, ceremonial first pitch before game one of the doubleheader. In this print that you can't read here on the screen, it says the Phillies gear is encouraged but not mandatory, and you get to throw the first pitch to the Philly fanatic on the field. So this is not the first time we've done an outing where someone from our group gets to throw out a first pitch.
Right.
It happened in St. Louis.
What a noise.
I'm thinking. It happened in St. Louis. I believe it happened in Seattle. We get invited on the field a lot pregame.
Uh-huh.
Like during BP. I'm almost positive it happened in Arizona.
Okay.
And I think last year in DC, I think Nancy and MJ went on the field.
Yes.
So
I remember that.
we usually get passes, and I don't normally do it because I'm like busy with the pregame party or whatever. And I could just sign myself up for this first pitch, but I don't want to. I would like to throw out a first pitch.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to give myself the first pitch.
Right.
So if the group gets invited to do, to throw out first pitch, I'm like, oh, I'll just do it.
Right.
If I ever get invited for whatever reason by someone to throw out a first pitch, I will do it.
Okay.
But I don't want to take the honor on myself and do it. So
I gotcha.
we have to figure it out. So I put out this tweet yesterday and I wrote, do you think Mr. Met should do it for us? And Mr. Met replied that he wants to do it.
Could he make the trip?
I don't know. So Mr. Met replied, I'll do it. Can I throw to the fanatic? I guess he didn't see that you do throw to the
that's
fanatic.
what you have to do.
So I have to fill out a paperwork, like a sheet, and submit it back to them on who's throwing out the first pitch. It says like name, pronunciation. So I'll write like name,
Mr. Met.
Mr. with the MR, and then pronunciation, the word Mr. And I'm going to send it in today and see what they come back with.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. So maybe Mr. Met will be throwing out an honorary first pitch on August 20th before
Lord
the
help
Seven
him
Army outing.
getting out of that stadium. He'd have to strip down.
There are great responses to this tweet. So I can't find it right now, but someone was like, oh, you should wear a Phillies jersey over your Mets jersey.
And then take it off.
And then when you get out there and they say your name, so-and-so, here's your pitch, whatever, take the Phillies jersey off.
Step on it.
And yeah.
Step
That's
on
what
it.
they do to us.
Yeah.
Do you remember on May 5th, the beginning of that video that Josh made, they slam, I think it's the Fanatic smashes a Mets helmet on the field.
Yeah. So why not?
Right.
Step on it.
That would be great. I don't know if that could happen, but it might be like our last time back to
Getting
Philly if
asked
that
to come
happens.
back.
So the second thing that I didn't notice in that email, I don't know if you saw the follow-up. You did, because I sent it in our text. We also get to submit a 2-minute video that plays on the scoreboard.
And I said, send Josh's
I know.
recap.
I texted Josh.
Can you do that?
No.
Ugh.
Because they would never allow that, number one. But if you haven't seen it, follow along on Twitter and check it out. But this is normally like they send this out to like a school or a camp or someone who's there with a group of people. I guess once you hit a certain number, which we sold 1,500 tickets, you get this honor. And they said it can't be like a commercial. So I can't just do like a 2-minute commercial with a 7-Line, because that's obviously pay a lot of money for that.
Right.
Like 7line.com. But we could certainly do something for the group. I don't have enough time because they sent this yesterday and the video is due on Saturday. So I can't I don't think I could whip anything. I mean, I could certainly edit very fast, but I don't have enough content. Like we could have done something at the last outing, like, hey, we're big Mets fans, but we come in, we're just trying to have fun, like whatever, like win or lose, good time, whatever.
Right.
Play something like that, but I just don't have the time for it. So we might skip this 2-minute video thing. But like you said, this video, if you haven't seen it yet, Josh put it together after the May 5th comeback of, the Mets spanked the Phillies in the 9th inning to come back. Their win probability was like 0.001 or something like that. The top of the 9th, it was 7-1. Phillies, and I think they came back with all 2 outs or whatever it was. So that has 187,000 views for Josh on Twitter. There you go.
I mean, what more baller move could you have than just throwing that on the Citizens Bank?
Well, you know what? Since I know it's not going to happen, why don't I just send them the video anyway?
And realize,
but imagine if
full picture of what they're dealing with.
Imagine if it falls through the cracks and like they don't even check the video and they just play it.
Do it. Why not? What do you have to lose?
That's what I'm going to do. After I'm done with the show, I'm going to submit Mr. Met as our first pitch thrower and see what they come back with. And then that Josh
And
video.
if you need to make that video shorter, you can just cut the beginning where it shows like all of the Mets errors and stuff. Just go straight to the 9th inning.
Right.
Just make them rewatch the 9th inning.
That's obviously 2:20 for Twitter, so you have to get it down for 2 minutes.
Just make them watch the 9th inning.
That would be excellent. So let's scroll back here and see what's going on. We got Des Moines, Iowa. Ryan Simmons is watching from there. We got Dave. He's still in Florida. He was down for that series last weekend against the Marlins. We got Joseph in Henderson, Virginia. We got Dave in North Carolina. We got Pablo Neos. It's a YouTube user watching in Arkansas. We got Rockaway Beach. A bunch of people checking in. So we love filling the map in, and Mets fans are certainly all over the map, and they check in when they can. So we also have to give away some stuff from Coney Island. I know you missed it last Friday, but we were out at Aruga's. What? You're laughing?
The way you looked at me when you said, I know you missed it last Friday.
Well, because last Monday we were on the show.
I missed it for good reason, but do this first.
Okay. So we had a good time out at Aruga's. It wasn't wall-to-wall people, but a good 100 people or so showed up. The place is really big, so it's always hard to gauge like how many fans are there for that.
Right.
But the game started at 6:40, so not that Patchogue isn't busy already, but like 6:40 on a Friday, and Patchogue in the summer is not typically that busy. So I think almost everyone who was there for the game, which is cool.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. Look, they got a new splash page here on the Coney Island website. So
love that.
Everyone was partaking in the Coney Islands. We had a great time. And each week on this show, what we do is give away free Coney Island stuff to live viewers or replay viewers. All you have to do is share the show if you're watching on Facebook. And I'll get the button now. Share the show if you're watching on Facebook. Retweet if you're watching on Twitter. We scroll through those names. And at the end of each week before the next show, we select a winner randomly on each platform. I'm going to send you out a bunch of stuff. So last week we had the Gil Hodges bobbleheads, which it's over there now, but each winner that I'm about to announce is getting a Gil Hodges bobblehead and swag from Coney Island.
Wow.
So probably like a tote bag. And
have they been contacted?
They have been contacted. If you're waiting for stuff over the past couple of weeks, sit tight. I already have all your information. I was just waiting on the package to come from Coney Island last week of all the new swag. So I will get the stuff out as soon as I can. So on Twitter, the winner from last week of the Gil Hodges bobble and the Coney Island swag is at SD Shazo _89. And on Facebook, it is our friend Mike Meehan.
Yay, Mike!
So Mike Meehan and SD Shazo 89. You will be getting your stuff soon. Check your inboxes because I already hit you up asking you for your information. So shout out to Coney Island. We love them. I drink them. Julia drinks it. We have the special promos that obviously go out each week with them, but you should also check them out on their website. So ConeyIslandBeer.com, proud partner of the New York Mets. If you scroll down, you could type in your zip code. So here's the one for the warehouse, and you hit Beer Me, and it gives you all the different options of, come on, Beer Me.
This happened last week too.
Did it really?
Yeah, I think it's just with all the stuff we have going on, it might be a slower connection.
There we
we
go.
go.
So all the locations that are near your zip code. So type that in and you could find out where you can pick stuff up. 7-Eleven, Target, Stop and Shop, different beer distributors. But if this is your first time watching, maybe because you're a big fan of Tony DiComo, they also have this excellent season ticket giveaway, which you can get involved in right now by simply texting the word Coney Mets, no spaces, to 855-933-4223. A winner will be selected at the end of the season, and they will get 2 season tickets to next season at Citi Field, a $100 gift card to be used at the brewery in Coney Island, and also a bunch of swag, shirts, hats, pint glasses. I'm sure they'll throw a bunch of cool stuff your way. If you happen to be around the Coney Island area, maybe you want to see the Hall of Fame that's not there anymore for the hot dog eating, Hall of Famers out there for Coney Island and Nathan's. Next door, where the Coney Island Cyclones play, that is where the brewery is.
We should have asked Tony how it's pronounced.
My dad actually told me the other day, like, it's very easy to say, and I just said, fuck it. Like, it's better that we don't know now.
Perfect.
I think it's like more of like our thing now with the fact checkers, that we don't have any idea how to say it, and we have no interest in learning.
Our things are so pathetic. It's that noise on your computer and not being able to pronounce the Coney Island. Where is it?
I don't even know.
Show me
You gonna say it again?
I can't see it.
I don't know.
It's for the best.
Maimonides. Maybe that's right. Maimonides. Anyway.
Maimonides.
Harmonize. All right. Anyway, it is 1904 Surf Avenue in Brooklyn, the home of the Brooklyn Cyclones. It is open all year round, not just game days. And they have 12 different taps of limited brewery-only exclusive beer, along with their favorites. The Mermaid, the Merman, and the Beach Beer, a full kitchen and indoor and outdoor seating. They have a lot of different events there, live music. No way, someone said I just got it right.
Which one?
I don't know.
You said it like 8 times.
I said it 5 different ways. Someone in the comments.
We'll never know.
Yeah, so definitely go check them out. Surf Ave in Brooklyn. Great friends of the show, and we love their support. So this weekend at Citi Field, you going to get to any games? You going to be able to make it? 5 games against the Braves. Big weekend.
I really wanted to try, especially because it's the Braves, but my work situation is, as it always is in August, without fail, it's a nightmare every year. So probably not. Are you kidding?
I took off the hat. Sorry, guys.
I'm leaving mine on because I'm going to have hat hair and I don't feel like fixing it. So I just.
Maimonides.
Maimonides.
Thanks to Rebecca Graziano. Should we say it the right way or just say fuck it and just do whatever we want?
I'm telling you right now, I will not remember this by next week. So.
Maimonides. Well, you could put it on the wall.
We should write.
Well, why don't we write it on this paper
that's
on our desk forever?
Here every week.
Maimonides. All right, there you go.
Got it.
So there you go. Maimonides. We will keep track of everything important on Twitter. I don't know if anything else happened over the last many minutes since we've been scrolling through, but it certainly looks like Soto will not. What is it? Did it happen?
I don't know.
Yes, Padres and Nationals have agreed in principle on a Juan Soto trade. This is also from John Morosi, with Bell also going to San Diego. That's crazy.
Damn.
So Josh Bell and Juan Soto both headed to the Padres.
Tentatively.
Yeah, in principle. To who for what? We'll see what happens. I wrote that the other day, to who for what, and someone actually replied and told me to who for what. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's a famous Terry Collins quote.
Oh boy, what a force.
And our friend DiComo, Mr. Tony, just wrote, I fear for the Nationals lineup that has to face Jacob deGrom tonight without Soto and Josh Bell. Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting night, interesting day. Keep track of your Twitters. Follow DiComo. Keep your ears out, your eyes out, and see what else is going on. I never thought Soto was going to be a Met, so I'm not super surprised.
I'm honestly more shocked that he's going anywhere than the fact that he's not going to the Mets.
Well, like Tony said, the Nationals are about to be sold, so I don't know. There's a lot of real big question marks there.
Yeah.
If the current owners were keeping the team, then maybe they'd be like, all right, let's build around this guy. But they want out, so fuck it, All right, guys. So that's a show for us. A little bit shorter than normal, but we ran through our stuff, and we don't want to speculate on what's going to happen. I'm actually more excited just to, no offense, to get off this thing and get.
I
back
just want to watch Twitter all day
and see what's going to happen.
Yeah,
but one more thing about the Phillies outing. We are going to be back at Xfinity Live like we were last year.
Fun.
I worked a deal out with them where, this is pretty cool, the bar's going to open at 10 a.m. Game's at 1.
Mhm.
We're doing game 1 for obvious reasons. I did not want to be responsible
Right.
for 1,500 people that were drinking all day for game 2.
Mhm.
So game 1 is at 1 o'clock. They're opening at 10. They're going to have drink specials exclusive for us. Wear your event shirt. What they're also doing is that special will end at first pitch of game 1. They're going to start the special back up before game 2 for the
Oh.
entire in-between time between game 1 and game 2.
Oh, nice.
So it's a split doubleheader.
Okay, cool.
It's not like we were going to go in and just sit there for
Right.
10 hours.
You have to leave.
You have to leave, go back across the street. That'll be like our home base for the day.
Nice.
So I'm going to write a blog post maybe in, I don't know, the next hour or so, get it on the site with all the information on where to go and all that. So stay tuned for that. Let's go Mets. Jacob deGrom tonight. So excited
Ooh.
for hopefully what will be an exciting night and exciting run down
Life
the rest
will look
of
very different by our
August and
next
September.
show.
Yes, very different.
deGrom.
Well, we already
trades,
know they're
maybe,
winning
a
tonight.
series with the Braves. Yeah, apparently
already-
they're winning tonight.
They're already 66 and 37, even though they didn't play tonight. So hopefully tomorrow they will go up 30 games over 500 for the first time in like forever. So stay tuned. Hit up the Mets site if you're looking for these fancy hats that we were wearing. Shout out to TickPick. Don't forget to use our special promo code OABT, $10 off any first-time user in the app. Thank you to Coney Island.
Over $99.
Oh, yes, for purchase of $99 or more.
Mhm.
And absolutely huge shout out to our friends at Coney Island. We love the beer. We love the promo. We love everything that you guys do. So we will obviously continue to support. So that's it. Let's go Mets. Follow DiComo and stay tuned for all that's happening between now and 6 o'clock. It's going to be crazy.
Go Mets.
Have a good one. Let's go Mets.
I'm so scared.
Put it in the books. Is that close? Let me hear you do it.
No, hell no.
Do one. Come on.
Absolutely not.
Come on.
Are you really going to do
I already
this?
turned it off. Go ahead.
No, you didn't. I know how this works.
Give me a put it in the
I'm
books.
just going to say put it in the books.
No, do it
That's
like you mean it. Like
Put
you're
it in the books.
All
Done.
right. See you guys next week.
I'm wearing a bucket hat.